Welcome to this episode of the More Than Just Trucks podcast. My name is Jim Conley. I'm a director of marketing here at the McCoy Group. I'm really tickled to be here today. We have a special show for you today to commemorate a huge milestone for this show. It turns 1.5 years old, and we have a ton of content coming your way in the coming weeks and the coming months. Really excited to be here, like I mentioned. I'm relatively new to the industry. I've actually only been with the McCoy Group for a month, which is awesome. My 1 month anniversary. What do you think?
Yeah, congrats. Right? Nice, huh? 1 month in.
Thank you.
Still green.
Still green, just like your chair, by the way. Love that. Well, guess what we're going to do today? We kind of let the cat out of the bag. We're going to flip the show. And instead of Ray Clark hosting it, I'm going to be your guest host today. And the man that needs no introduction here, Ray Clark, the host of this wonderful podcast.
Thanks, Jim, and welcome to the training center. This is kind of cool for me. It's been an exciting little bit of a road trip here, adding in this podcast and stuff. And again, welcome aboard.
Well, Ray, I want to thank you for all that you've done for hosting this show. And then congratulations on this show turning 1.5 years old. And we got a long way to go, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, it's pretty cool. I got it started there. I know it was kind of just up and coming, these podcasts were, and they were trying to really expand on everything and stuff. And it's like, I got an email notification here just about a week ago and we hit 1,000 downloads. I know that's like minimal for some of these huge guys that are doing podcasts. I'm no Joe Rogan by any means, but 1,000 downloads in about 1.5 years and only about 11 episodes. So again, thanks for the little hats off on that.
Well, yeah, especially thank you to the listeners. Everybody's listening to the show, and then we'll get to some things later, Ray, that if we can have you all share this with your friends, we'll turn that 1,000 into 10,000 and
just really keep growing it.
This is a show for you, the listener, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we kind of go through, the interview here today. It's going to be a flipped interview, so I'm going to ask Ray some basic questions. You all may know these things about Ray, but I don't in some respects, and thought I'd give you guys a really look behind the hood on what we have here for the show. So, Ray, I think to start, maybe explain, like, how long have you been with Truck Country?
Yeah, so my history is actually kind of interesting, I think. And so I've been here at Truck Country and actually here in the Midwest for about 9.5, almost 10 years. So started out as a service manager here at our corporate dealership in Dubuque. And but when I go back on my history, really is Northeast New York boy. I'm just from Northern New York, very small town. So when I say small, 800 people, 4 corners, couple stop signs, that's it. That's all I got in my town where I came from. My dad had an excavating business, so grew up with tracks, tires, and we fixed everything. So, I mean, I was just kind of a gearhead from the get-go and ended up in Ohio Diesel Tech, got a certificate to say I knew how to fix diesel engines and things. And I just kept kind of pushing forward through that. And
Ray, one question I have is, how did you get into this wonderful business?
So it's pretty cool for me. I got quite a road, really. I'm a Northern New York boy, so I came from the Northeast coast, very small town. I've been out here in the Midwest now for about 10 years with the McCoy Group / Truck Country. Really started out with Truck Country Dubuque as a service manager, but yeah, I grew up in a very small family-owned and operated excavating business, and tracks, tires, we fixed everything. We did everything ourselves. My dad wasn't one to really take anything to a shop or have somebody come in and help us repair. Really was our mentality. So I grew up kind of learning how to do nuts and bolts and fixing things from excavators to dozers to pickup trucks. So really just born and raised as a gearhead. And in high school, I ended up going to Votech school, and Ohio Diesel came in and recruited me. Went to Ohio Diesel and really got in the industry from there. I was a flat rate technician for Chevy GMC dealerships throughout most of my time. And then I got into the Freightliner world. And when I got into the Freightliner world, I guess my mentality is I lead, I don't follow. I guess I'm just that kind of guy. I don't like to have somebody not give direction. And if they aren't going to do it, I'll step up to the plate for them. So Kind of took a leadership role and ended up becoming a service manager for a Freightliner dealership in New York. And like I said, about 10 years ago, lock, stock, and barrel, moved my wife and son out here to Truck Country Dubuque, and it's just grown from here. I mean, it's been a great company, really. It's no exaggeration, man. The growth that I've seen with the company alone, and really the career path that I've had with these guys has been a good road for me.
Well, I'll echo that. So I'm going to give you guys, I'm breaking a rule here in podcasting. So normally when you have your guests, follow kind of a scripted set of questions. And I always tell my guests whenever I've hosted shows in the past, I'm not going to stray from it too much, but Ray's got so much experience that I think we can ad lib a little bit. But I'm going to give you guys a little known fact about Ray that I learned about a week ago that I didn't know, is that he is actually a hockey player.
I am a hockey player.
And
retired hockey player.
But we're talking about getting him out of retirement.
No,
so
retired.
We're going to work on that. So I, just like Ray, have a podcasting background, similar things we'll talk about today with Ray. But then I also play hockey. So that's when I learned that Ray was a hockey player. I was so excited about that. But there's a little star by that. We're not going to talk about retirement because that's not a fun thing in this setting. But Ray is a goalie.
Is
a goalie. Can you believe that? That's amazing. That's one position. So I play all the positions as you and I talked about in an adult league, but in my whole life, I've never played goalie. And I think there's a reason for that. I think I would probably let up. I wouldn't have a save percentage at all, I don't think.
Well, you definitely have to have I don't want to say a screw loose, but I mean, somebody's taking slap shots at, in high school, anywhere from 80 to 100 miles. We had some kids that could really crack some pucks. And, I guess in the low scale, even at 60 miles an hour, this little black disc coming at you. So it was interesting. But that was, like I said, it was, I guess, that same leadership mentality, right? I played defense for a while. And at that point in time, I really wanted to do a little more and I actually try to win a little bit more. And our goalie was giving up more than he was saving. And I was like, I was a catcher in baseball. If I can catch a baseball, I ought to be able to catch a puck coming at me. So I kind of moved into that seat and had a great career with that too. I had fun.
Well, it's going to be great, Ray. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the ice here in the upcoming season with the Fossils or Seniors or both.
And a walker. Did they let walkers on the ice?
Oh yeah, I play on the Dubuque Fossils. So we're on the older side of the equation. So it'll be great. You'll enjoy getting back into it.
Double runner blades.
Yeah, it's great. All right. Well, for the audience here, some basic things. What do you do here for Truck Country?
So I am the director of training and development, and I oversee our both training centers. We have two, which is really cool for me because not only do we have our Truck Country Training Center here in Dubuque, we have a Stoops Training Academy in Indianapolis. Oversee both of those, and we have 4 in-house certified trainers at both locations. Like I said, I mean, it's just really cool. So I kind of joke and think of myself as a principal. I've got a vice principal here in Dubuque. Jolene, she does a great job that when I'm out of office, she kind of keeps the training center along with Andy Hedrick going. So we have some really good fun here.
Yeah, big shout out to Jolene. She's actually allowing us to use this space here. It seems like she vacated this area for us. So thank you, Jolene. And she's an amazing person too. And you mentioned something earlier, Ray, that I wanted to just address a little bit here. Truck Country, not only Truck Country, but the McCoy Group. We have Foodliner, Questliner, WW Transport. We've got the Stoops brand, which is amazing, Truck Country. And then we have McCoy Group Forestry Division. What an amazing company to work for. So yeah, it's awesome.
So many avenues, so many roads, so many opportunities here with this company. It really is.
It's unreal. So before coming to the McCoy Group, I was at McGraw-Hill Education, place that I loved, near and dear to my heart for 20 years, and then made the switch here. And the reason why is the people, the opportunities, and there's just so much opportunity. So we'll get to this maybe later on upcoming shows. But if you're looking for a change in employment or anything like that, this is a wonderful place to work.
Yeah, I mean, so think about this. So it's not just here in Dubuque, right? When everybody thinks of that, it's like, okay, so McCoy Group, how big are we? All the like entities that you talked about, right? You have Foodliner, you have Questliner, you got McCoy Construction and Forestry, Truck Country and Stoops. I mean, in just the Freightliner world itself and dealerships, we got 25 locations in 6 different states. So then you add on the transportation side, and we cover, God, I think almost 40 plus states in that. So I mean, there's so much opportunities that you could, I mean, if you ever wanted to move somewhere or see something different, there is a lot of opportunity with us. That is pretty cool for me.
Yeah, this training center. So this is the first time that I've been here in person. So I've actually driven by this location a number of times. Usually when I'm going to see the Iowa Hawkeyes play.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. Go Hawks. That's for all of our listeners that are Iowa Hawkeyes. Appreciate that. So anyway, normally I drive by here, but what a wonderful facility this is.
Yeah. Greg, Doug, the McCoy family, Brian, all those guys have by far not really done anything but put top-notch thoughts, ideas, and money towards the training centers. I mean, when you walk in, I've had tool vendors, I've had college guys come in here, instructors and stuff, and say, "Holy cow, this is awesome. This is more than I even truly imagined." That, I mean, this is bigger than some high-end college and tech schools. So they've done a great job with it. It's really nice that they know what we need for training for the industry and stuff, and by far they have like really put every effort in to make sure our employees get the best.
Yeah, I love that. And we may talk about that a little bit more in detail here. When I think about training in general, Ray, or like this training center, from your perspective, what are the top 5 things that you think about or really significant about training or the training center as you see it?
It's just awesome that I have the group that I have. I got an awesome team, both here in Dubuque and in Indianapolis. The other thing that I like that they did real well is we're actually running short on classroom, but in our field with technicians, it's very hands-on. So they really expanded the shop. So it's more shop space than classroom. And that's what's really cool with that, is because as technicians listen to this, it's like, well, I train by doing, right? That's how I learn. That's how my best training is. So they've done really good and given us a large shop capacity in both sides, so that it's not like just sit down classroom. And like I said, state of the art. I mean, if it's current model trucks, engines, training aids, I mean, it's there. It's on the shop floor for us to train our technicians. Or even here, we've got service advisor training. We've got parts training that happens and goes on. I mean, you name it, we've got sales training that goes on. So we've opened the door and broadened it for more than just a technical type training side of it, so that we can really keep moving forward and give every employee at least what he needs to do his job and build a career.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Ray, when we do these podcasts, one of the things we can entertain is doing something we call the Easter egg. The Easter egg is kind of like a scavenger hunt where if you can list maybe one of the things that Ray talked about, just previously in that answer about training center and what's important, if you email me or Ray, so my email address is jimconnely@mccoygroup.com, and just say, hey, listen to the show, love this one aspect that Ray talked about. Or what's your email address, Ray?
Ray Clark at truckcountry.com. That's RayClark at truckcountry.com.
What we'll do is we will send you a $10 gift card to Amazon, and we'll limit this to the first 5 people that email us, so we don't go crazy on a budget like that. But,
yeah, spend my money. There he goes. Marketing, get that out there, right?
First thing Ray said was, hey, great job. Let's spend my money. I'm like, oh yeah, why not? When it's not yours, it's always easier.
It is easier. It is easier that way.
But Ray and I both do have the philosophy of, we treat the company's resources like it's our own. So
very much.
We're not going to be willy-nilly on that. So when you got into podcasting, what was your inspiration to create this show?
It was really, I guess, not to get so much my voice out there, but the industry voice. I mean, I was starting to really listen to more podcasts myself, and it was cool that, some of these guys, and like I said, I'll mention Joe Rogan again, because like, to me, he's the man, the myth, the legend of podcasters. He really is for me. And so when it's out there, it's like, I do a lot of drive time when I go to Indianapolis. So it's a 6-hour ride. So sometimes like music is just It's there. I'm definitely a classic rock music guy, but it's also I want to learn more. So when you start listening to podcasts, you start learning more, you start hearing more. So it was like, man, I wonder if I could do something like that and I guess help people understand more of what our industry is and maybe even get the younger generation. I mean, again, I think of myself as a kid at heart, and how do we get kids that when I was that age, what made me want to get into the industry, right? I mean, I kind of grew up into it, so it was a little easier path for me. But it's like now, it's like, how do we get somebody that thinks they could do it but don't know for sure? How do you open that door? So maybe that was one way to like vocally do it. So it was just that kind of path of getting our voice out there, marketing the industry, marketing the company and what we do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So speaking of the show, you have like 11 episodes, and I'm going to ask you a potentially unfair question.
Oh,
and that is,
it's loaded.
Do you have a top 5 episodes for you, or maybe episode moments if we go there? Because I know you don't want to like isolate any show.
Yeah, no, exactly, man. Because they're all great. All my guests on it so far have been really awesome. I mean, Terry Kirby, Mike Mallet, Chris Hunlock. Chris, I've had some high school boys. I've had, 2 of our own techs in there. I guess the best one that really keeps standing out, and I think we had this conversation, is I shut the mic off, but I did a one that was called dual learning. So we've got a high school program where high schoolers can come in, take a diesel training program, and earn credits at the local college at NICC. So we kind of called it dual learning, but I had 4 of the boys in here and it was great. We had awesome conversation. And I'm like, okay, hey, the podcast is done. I should have kept it going because the next 5 to 10 minutes was the best conversation I ever had. So that one really stands out in my head because here's a bunch of very young gentlemen, right? 16, 17 years old. And those guys were like, they knew the career path they wanted. So it was cool to have those boys in the class because it wasn't like they were just here to take credits and just kind of get away from the high school scene. It was, they were here because they wanted to be here. So that was cool. We had one called The Journey to Truck Country and Stoops. And I had 2 very savvy young guys that came from 2 different industries, Aaron Wickline and Jake Bully. So that was really a good one because both, like you said, both guys, they're in our TTP classes and program. And it was like just hearing those guys talk about coming from a different industry and then coming into ours. And, but those are just a few. And then really just, I guess if I wanted to do a number 3, Katie Porter in the very beginning, we had a very unscripted introduction one. I mean, we literally went off the cuff by it. We had nothing scripted and we recorded for like 45 minutes or so. And it just flowed. And it was pretty cool that both of us just popped questions and went through it like it was nothing. So those are the ones that stand out to me. But again, thank you all guests, all of you.
Yeah, we all are loved. Now, Katie Porter, what does she do?
Katie, unfortunately, has left the company. So married and a child. So kind of went on the way as a new mom. So, but again, thank you, Katie, if you do listen out there, because that was one of my memories was that first introduction show with you.
Yeah, that's super cool. Now, with Easter eggs, I think we should do another one since we're, frivolously spending money.
Yeah. Hey, I've got some swag. I mean, there's some shirts out there that was, I think Dyersville, St. Patrick's Day parade. We were tossing out some shirts. So I've seen some wandering around. I got some more. So what do we want to do?
Okay. Here's what we're going to do. So if you're listening to this and you like it, of course, and you want to give us a 4 or 5 star review, all we're going to ask you to do is to do that. Maybe type why you like the show, take a screenshot of it, either with your camera or on your phone, whatever you're doing, on your computer, and then send that to Ray or I. And again, my email address is Jim Conley. So it's Jim, CONNELY @McCoygroup.com, or
Ray Clark @truckcountry.com, RAYCLARK.
And the first 5 people that do that, we're going to send you some swag.
And if you are local listening, feel free to stop in at the training center Monday through Friday and I'll give you a tour. We'll toss you a shirt, and don't forget to add your address in that email and screenshot that you got to us.
Yeah, that's very important for us because that's the way that people on these distribution channels are going to find out about the podcast. The more reviews that we get, 5-star, 4, whatever you have. And if you do have a 3, 2, or a 1, that's okay too. But the big thing is we move forward. If you have show ideas, reach out to Ray, get those on the docket, and he'll make sure that we get those rolling. But this is really a podcast for you guys. So that's one thing that we want to keep in mind.
And that's why I titled it More Than Just Trucks. I mean, I've had everything from training to career paths to high schoolers. So, I mean, it's exactly what Jim said. It's about you guys. What do you guys want to hear? We got Jim driving a bus with me now. So it's like, I think we can get moving forward on this, and we can really get some more interesting podcasts and shows for you guys.
Well, Ray, I know we do need to transition a little bit here. I know you're very busy. You got a lot of stuff going today. What I was going to do is just share with the audience some big events that we have coming up.
Oh, cool. What do we got coming up?
We got a ton of stuff coming up. So the first one, we all know that people who drive truck are amazing individuals. They are the lifeblood of our business.
Keeps our groceries on the shelves, and people forget that.
Yes. And that is something where it's a difficult job. It's very demanding. Obviously, you can be alone on the road for a long period of time. So Ray and I just want to thank anyone who's out there driving, listening to this. We really appreciate you. But that's the reason why I wanted to mention our number one event coming up is Driver Appreciation Week. And that's going to be in September. So it's the 12th through the 16th. So what I want to mention to all of you is pay attention to the socials. So if it's the Truck Country channels, Stoops channels, Foodliner, Questliner, WW Transport, whatever one you subscribe to or follow on the social medias.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a lot of fun things that week. So we're going to be shining a light on some amazing drivers, which I'm going to get to that here in a second.
I want to jump in quick, because those of you that get mad at the drivers as you're going up down the highway, remember what they have besides that steering wheel. They've got 80,000 pounds on average going up and down that road. And those are the goods that you purchase day in, day out. So again, give those guys a hats off when you see them.
Yeah, and on that note, so I was telling Ray I was a little bit late for the podcast, which I do apologize for, but I made a wrong turn. And I was going to make a Yui, which I know some people are on board with or not. There's a phrase for making a Yui, but this is a family show. I won't mention.
Yeah,
but I'm literally going to pull the Yui, and I saw this truck behind me, and I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute! I don't want to do this to that driver, because I could have done it." But the reality is it would have really stressed him out, because he would have to
really hammer on the brakes. Yeah.
Because he was cooking. But I thought, well, I'm just going to go up one more exit and then, give him a proper way to, either have safer distance with him.
Yeah,
anyway, so
perfect.
I digress. But so, and then on top of that, we have a couple of new things, Ray. I know this is potentially a controversial topic for some people.
For everybody. Yeah, right now.
We've all heard of electric cars, right?
Yep.
E-mobility events. We have a couple of them coming up. If you want to learn about the new Freightliner e-Cascadia, we're going to have one of those in Lima, Ohio. That'll be on September 20th. And then on the 26th and 27th of September in Hampshire, Illinois, we're going to have that e-Cascadia. So you can come out, learn about that, see Drew and any one of our other teammates, learn about that e-Cascadia. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think you might even be able to drive it. You guys are going to be amazed, because everybody thinks of you're standing next to a large truck and you should hear it running. And these electric vehicles, you don't hear them run. I mean, it's pretty crazy. And again, our Hampshire location is that North Chicago. We call it North Chicago dealership. So Lima, Ohio, Hampshire, check them out, man, because it's like, it's the hot topic right now in the transportation world, right? Is this electric trucks, e-Cascadia? Everybody's going that direction a little bit. Is it a bridge gap? Is it going to be something? What's its purpose? Where's its best fit? So a lot of conversation going on with that. So one thing, I'll throw a little thing in here. I actually was able to drive one of the Autocar e-trucks that's a spotter truck. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we had this cool event. So I think I was on the McCoy group for maybe like 2 weeks. Like, yeah, we have this event, and I went out there with a bunch of my teammates. And quick shout out too, by the way, to Tyler Dittmer, Drew Hepler, John Guile, and then Darren Fisher. That event that we had out there was amazing in terms of having Autocar there, and also the folks from Autocar, and it's just wonderful, but amazing to get in one of those vehicles and drive it. I was actually joking with Mike Burkett, who we both know real well. I said, hopefully the insurance is all locked up on this, because I'm driving it. Well, quick story on that. Right after I was done, we have a brand new intern. Her name is Maddie Kolb. She's amazing. I said, well, hey, come on up. Let's have you drive this. Now, when I drove the Autocar, it was actually me with the Autocar gentleman. So he was very good about, like, make sure you pay attention to your speed, really safe, right? And Maddie's there, and the Autocar guy was giving Tyler Dittmer, shout out Tyler again, a hard time. He's like, well, you can just, you know enough about these, you can take her around. And Tyler works in sales for us, so he's just a wonderful young man, but really funny guy. So I'm leaving to go to a meeting, and I'm just looking back, and I see Maddie, and literally, I don't think she touched the brake at all during the whole time. Just flying. It is a top speed of like 35 miles an hour. So when they got back, I caught up with Tyler and Maddie, and she said, yeah, I went around this curve really fast. And Tyler's like, hit the brakes. And she's like, I don't know where they are.
Man.
So we almost had an incident.
So we were glad to make that insurance statement then.
Yeah, definitely.
Almost had to be used.
I know. Hopefully Mike's not listening to this, but yeah, it's very interesting.
All good.
Yeah, all good. So cool event. So e-mobility is a big deal. I think the thing for the listeners, for you guys, something to just keep your eyes and ears open, listen, learn. I think this is something where, as I look at it as a novice in the industry, I think this is definitely not an area where you don't want to be in extremes. I think, for any of our outfits, they might be balanced to have a few of these things around just to kind of, dip your toes in the water with it. But it should be a lot of fun. Ray, at the end here, I want to thank you for graciously allowing me to host today.
Yeah, it was different to be on the other side of the fence a little bit.
I know, and hopefully you'll let me do that again in the future.
Yeah.
I think we should have you on the show more often.
Yeah.
You'll be here all week.
We need a different setting. I need more, like a coffee pot right next to me. My cup is empty already.
Agreed. We definitely need that coffee pot in here. But it's been a pleasure. And then also, too, one thing that Ray and I want to mention is, again, like we talked about earlier, if you're listening to this, go out to iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, write a review, get the word out. That's really going to help us. And then the big thing is, if you have show ideas, definitely reach out to Ray or myself. We'd love to get those shows on the docket. And then also, if you want to be on the show, reach out to Ray and we'll get you hooked up.
You got something interesting to chat about? Let's do it. We record via digital Zoom, so I can literally send you links and invites. And again, share the show out there. Get the voice to be heard a little bit. Go to our Truck Country page, our social media pages. As soon as we record these, I send the links out and I post them on LinkedIn and our Facebook pages and stuff. So be sure to look for those too.
Yeah, we're going to do a lot of new things with the show. I think Ray's got a really nice schedule and roster coming up. He and I have experimented or talked about a little bit. Maybe we'll do some video.
Yeah, I would like to get some video and some sit down, some impromptu stuff going.
It'd be really cool. So we're both fans of Jocko Willink, who does that. He's a podcaster, but also awesome human being. So if you don't know Jocko, go search him.
Go check it out.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. But shout out to Jocko and Echo Charles too. We can't leave Echo.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Everybody talks about Jocko all the time.
Yeah.
But hey, Ray, thanks for having me on the show today. Thanks for being on the show. This was great. I think we're going to sign off today on this episode of More Than Just Trucks. Anything last that you'd like to say?
No, that's it. And again, thanks to all the listeners out there. Shoot us some screenshots, email us, and let's get some swag out there.
You guys have a great day.
Hey, we'll see everybody.
Thank you.